This video shows how to sharpen a chef knife using whetstones. The chef knife is the workhorse in my kitchen and I have a few of them. This is an average size chef knife made in Japan by a company called Sharpen. It was given to me about 20 years ago and it is easy for me to keep sharp because I use it the most, which means I also sharpen it the most. Whetstones need to be soaked in water before they are used. I store mine in a stone pond or soak the stones I am going to use at least an hour before I start. To flatten a whetstone, rub it against fine grit wet sandpaper on a flat surface like a piece of heavy glass. I start with a 1000 grit stone and use a stone holder with a rubber base to help stop the stone from moving around as I apply pressure. But if there was any small pieces of the blade missing, I would start with a 250 grit stone or lower grit sandpapers on top of the heavy glass until the edge is restored flat, then sharpen as usual. I use a 15-degree angle on both sides of the knife, but an angle close is okay as long as you use the same angle every time you sharpen the knife. Using a felt marker allows you to see where the metal is being removed so you can easily find the 15-degree angle and the areas of the edge that need the most attention. The chef knife is used for lots of different tasks, so the blade needs to be sharp from the tip to the heel. Working in sections, rub the part of the blade that contacts the stone without rotating your wrist, and apply even pressure to the tip of the blade with your other hand. Go slow at first, of course, but after you sharpen a few knives, the motion is always the same and you'll be able to pick up speed as you progress. Try to do the same number of strokes on each side, and when the edge comes together and a burr forms, it is time to switch to a smoother, higher grit stone. A 4000 grit stone is used to remove the marks left by the 1000 grit stone, which in theory will not remove as much metal and take a lot longer to remove the high spots, so having an assortment of stones with different grits is a matter of preference, but a good idea. Each stone is treated the same way and needs to be flat. Just like in cooking, the more you do it, the easier it gets, and if your knife sharpening station is always the same with the right stones the right distance away from you, your muscle memory will kick in and help you find that right angle of the grind quickly. I choose the distance that is comfortable for me because sharpening knives takes a lot of time and practice, so you do not want to force your hands and wrists in weird positions or it'll be very difficult to be consistent and probably hurt. Once the burr is formed using the 4000 grit stone, you can go back and forth along the stone a few times to quickly remove the burr. At this point your blade should be razor sharp, but I like to finish with an 8000 grit stone. I only use the highest grit stone to polish the surface of the knife to a mirror finish because I do not want to change the shape of the knife. When the knife is new, it can take a long time to make it sharp, but once you have established a good working method with whetstones, it usually only takes a few minutes to make the blade razor sharp, especially if you maintain the edge regularly and store the knife properly.